Hi, I'm Barbara Jennings, your local realtor here, and today we've got a special guest, Mac Church, and he is with Atlantic Coast Mortgage. And let me tell you, we've got a special mini series just about lending for the next, oh goodness, goes until next year. It may go into even longer, but for right now, we're going to get to the end of the year. On every Wednesday night, we're going to post this, so stay tuned and make sure you tap that subscribe button and click the little bell so you get notified not only of these lending videos that are going to educate you in today's shifting market, but also we've got driving tours and we've got all kinds of pros and cons about all the different counties, all the way up to Northern Virginia down to Prince William County. So without further ado, we're going to get going and introduce Mac Church.
Let's do it.
Barbara Jennings here, your local realtor with eXp Realty, and today we've got Mac Church with ACM Mortgage, your local lender. And in today's video, what are we going to be talking about, Mac?
We're going to talk about Veterans Administration Loans, otherwise known as VA loans.
VA loans. Oh my goodness, this one touches our hearts. I mean, I can share with you one time we met a veteran out at a Starbucks because eXp is a virtual, we're a cloud-based brokerage, so we don't actually have
offices.
No office.
Starbucks is the office.
Yeah, Starbucks, Panera, Wegmans upstairs we use. So anyway, we sat down and he started telling his story about what happened, and he had a napkin because he was 100% disabled vet, and he told his story about what happened on the battlefield and how he actually saw his fellow soldiers die right there in front of him because there was the, what do you call it? The armored vehicle.
Tank?
Yeah. So he had the tank and he was going along, and they have these mines in different places, and the tank went over it and blew up, and the tank caught on fire and he caught on fire, and some of his fellow soldiers also. And I can tell you, Mac, by the time he finished talking about this story and telling us, Doug and I were literally just in tears. You would think that somebody personally had died because it was just such a touching story. And just veterans in general, we just have a special place for them in our heart. My son is in the Navy, so my dad was in the Army for a very, very short time. My son-in-law also Navy, so it really just, these loans are so important, and what they have to offer that Mac's going to talk about today is just unbelievable what you guys as VA veterans are able to get in this loan.
Well, I mean, I can tell you that anytime I work with a veteran, I'm thrilled just to be able to serve someone who serves us.
Oh yeah.
And protects us. So the best thing about the VA loan is that it is 100% financing, no money down loan.
Yeah, there you go.
Provided that you don't own a home with a VA loan on it already.
Oh yeah.
But it is a 100% financing, no mortgage insurance. There is a funding fee attributed to the loan, and it depends on if it's your first time or multiple time use.
Yeah, it changes as one purchases. So you use your VA
you
one
use
time.
your VA the first time, and you'll pay a certain amount of a funding fee.
And then it goes
it's 2.3% of the purchase price, and then when you use it the second and multiple times, it's 3.6%. Unless
there's always the
unless you are a veteran that is 10% rated as disabled by the VA or more.
There you go.
So if you're 10%, that's it, which is pretty much nothing. What I've heard from veterans.
Right.
You don't have to pay the funding fee. But even if you do have to pay the funding fee, the beautiful thing about it is it's financed into the loan, so it's not an out-of-pocket cost.
Yeah,
it's considered a closing cost, but yeah.
Yeah, it's rolled into the loan.
It's rolled into the loan, which of course does make your payment a little bit higher, but it's nothing that you need to bring out of pocket or worry about. We do have some veterans every once in a while will pay that fee up front out of their pocket, but it's not something that has to be done.
But you can if you...
But you can.
Yeah. Just an option.
It's an option. One of the great things about the state of Virginia is that if you are considered 100% disabled, you do not have to pay real estate tax.
Wow.
Up to 1 acre. If it's over an acre, then there's going to be a percentage of the, and it's a computation that I don't, that I'm actually not involved in, but
we check the county.
It could be very, very low. So what this does is the benefit to this is you have a way lower monthly payment without having those taxes being escrowed into your account, and it provides you a higher approval amount as well.
Nice.
So it's
fantastic. I remember in
that,
another video Mac was sharing with us, a client was able to get $70,000 more
on his purchase price because he didn't have to pay the taxes.
Yeah,
so
amazing.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. Also, if it's your primary residence and you don't own another home with a VA loan on it, there's no loan limit anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I remember like way in the day, like, okay, we can't look in that county because the loan limit, especially for people, like are higher ranking in the military. I mean, this was a colonel or something and like we couldn't buy
an $800,000 house because the loan limit was like $500,000.
I was like, oh, I'm really sorry, but he was like, this is my dream home, and like we had to look in another county.
Yeah, so they've done away with that, which is huge. Now it's always going to depend on each different lender of what they're willing to lend up to. Here at Atlantic Coast Mortgage, we'll go up to $2 million.
Okay.
But then again, if a veteran wants to put money down, if they wanted to buy a $2.5 million house and they put $500,000, they can do the $200.
Especially if they sold their house in the last 2 years, they definitely probably made some dough that put down on their new house.
Right.
Yeah.
But the other thing that a lot of people don't realize is that there's no limit to the amount of VA loans that you can have. So you could have bought 10 houses in your lifetime with a VA loan each time.
Wow.
So there's no limit.
So can I own more than one home at a time?
You can. So there is a limit on how many VA home loans you can have at one point in time, which is 4.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
And you might think, well, how a VA loan is only good for a primary residence. So how could someone have 4?
Yeah, because you're only living in one,
right?
Yeah,
so,
or maybe you're renting and you're not living in any of them.
Which is the case. So the VA does allow, if you're turning a primary residence into an investment property and you're moving, and there's a VA loan on that, you will have a certain amount of your eligibility tied up in that house.
Oh yes.
Okay, and so what we do is we order a certificate of occupancy. A certificate of eligibility, COE. We'll order that, and it will tell us how much is being used, and then we have a formula that we use, and it will tell us how much that veteran can get on their next house with a VA loan, as long as it's a primary.
Yeah, so that
makes sense. For 100% financing, or if they have to put some money down. But the way it works is, I've another little story for you. I've had a client who owned a home in Georgia, owned a home in South Carolina, owned a home in North Carolina, and he bought his most recent home in Virginia. And each home that he owned, all the mortgages were fairly small, $200,000 or less, because back then, houses were cheaper. Yeah. And he held on to each home and rented them out. Exactly. And so he was always able to use his bonus eligibility to buy another home. And then once he got into Virginia, even though he had quite a bit of money tied up, well, up here in the Northern Virginia area, we're considered a high cost area, which is, you can get a house, the loan limit, now there are loan limits if you do own a home with a VA loan, but it's $970,000. So when we did all the calculations, we told this veteran that he could get up to $450,000 with 100% financing.
Wow!
So he currently owns 4 homes with VA loans,
that is amazing.
It's awesome. So his cash flow is great because he's got really low rates. He has no mortgage insurance on any of those houses.
Yeah.
So it's for veterans. It's a great investment opportunity. To keep your houses and as long as you have enough eligibility, you can buy your next primary residence,
Yeah.
keep your old house on that VA loan,
Mm-hmm.
have great
Work
cash
on
flow
paying,
coming in.
yeah, work on paying off that first one, so that gets paid off, and then you've got 3, and then you can build and build and build, you know,
Correct.
as time goes on, you know, as long as you're within your criteria in the eligibility,
And then
you know,
again,
and
if-
loan limits,
right. And
Yeah.
then if those houses are paid off, or at some point if you said, hey, I can refinance and re-amortize this loan into a conventional and keep my even if it's a new mortgage, it's okay because you're not gonna, this isn't gonna be your forever home. You
Right.
have a higher cash flow coming in, you can do that. And now you've freed up some of your eligibility to keep purchasing.
This is why you need to talk to a local lender like Mac, because he knows, he's worked with these people. This is why you want to work with Mac, because he's worked with these programs and he's worked with the VA. He knows the eligibility. He knows all of these details, because when you've done this for so long, or as long as Mac has done
18 years.
you know a thing or two, and you're able to help people like yourselves, being a veteran with the VA loan and knowing all the ins and outs, and being able to get you that, you know, that
awesome rate.
that
too.
awesome rate. Yeah, I was just trying to think of like all these things. Like it was just so much that you just talked about. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like it's just awesome program. You know,
a VA, a veteran, or,
Yeah.
or a VA loan or active duty. I mean, you have such an opportunity to build wealth through real estate because of being able to use this loan.
yeah, and not using cash out of your pocket. You know, just being able to 100% financing and getting the right home, getting the right loan, and knowing all of the ins and outs like Mac does, you can have yourself a nice little financial portfolio
That's
in
right.
no time.
And and one more nice little surprise is a VA loan is assumable. And I know a lot of people say, well, what does that mean? What does assumable mean?
Yeah.
And what that means is you can sell your house to preferably another veteran so you don't lose your eligibility, but you can sell your house to another individual and they can actually take over your loan where the balance is and at the rate. So if you owed $300,000 on a home and you had a 2.5% rate from back in 2020,
Yeah.
you're giving a huge advantage to that buyer to be able to take that loan and rate. And here's the best part. Whatever your house is currently worth, they have to pay you the difference. So they would either have to pay you in cash difference, or they can get a second mortgage to go along with that
Assumable.
assumable loan.
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody wins. You're
Yeah.
getting a great deal.
They're getting
a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saving them a ton of money, and it's a great marketing tool to get your home sold
Yeah. Fantastic. Or to buy.
or to buy. Right?
Or to buy. Use that VA assumable. So until we meet you guys in person, remember as always to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, reach out however you like, because we're working for you guys days, nights, weekends, helping you move and relocate here to the area. That was such great information. I can tell you, hey buyers, if you're out there and you're listening here to Mac, he is the Mac Daddy. He's got all, he wasn't ready for me to say that, but that's the truth. He knows what he's doing. He's got the service, he's got the people, he's got the knowledge and the wisdom, and he is a local lender.
Yes.
So
Well, thank you so much, Barbara, for having me. It's been wonderful, and I hope all of you out there will definitely reach out to us with any questions or needs. We've been doing this a long time, so we have a lot of knowledge for you, and answer anything that you need and help you buy that house.
that's right. So if you guys are watching, remember to comment below, buy now, down there in the comments, and we will get right to you, answer any questions that you had, or you could just reach out to us. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Yeah, reach out days, nights, weekends. It doesn't matter, because when you're looking online, it's 24/7. So whatever time of the day it is, just comment below. We'll get any question that you have answered.